Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. I got the most extraordinary email from one of the ladies who sends me lots of very, very useful links, and her name is Dee. And she talks about the plight of the elderly in South Africa. And it's a sort of story that needs to be put on the record, so I'm going to. It's a very, very sad story, but it's what is happening in South Africa right now. And Dee says, with guest house management, you are shopping on a daily basis, and my son and I have this habit of watching the elderly on our daily shopping routines. You can clearly see a difference in just, give or take, 12 months, that the pensioners' shopping lists are not just getting shorter, but items that used to make the list are not even an option anymore. We would scan the supermarket and recognize an older lady that takes 5 minutes looking at the same packet of instant soup mix just to decide if she could afford it. The elderly person that is trying to negotiate between items and that is finding it hard enough to simply walk the aisle, never mind spending time trying to understand the rate of inflation. She would have a handwritten list that I can assure you every item on that list would be from the weekly specials flyer, and they do not deviate from this list at all. They do not even look at the rest of the products on the shelves surrounding them. They would start with the most important and crucial items, such as the most disgusting plastic margarine, not because it has the Heart-Friendly Association approval stamp, but because it is the utmost cheapest product on the shelf. Items like fruit juice, butter, and cheese are never in their basket. Items such as margarine, 2-minute noodles, amazi, soured milk, as they cannot afford Bulgarian yogurt, toilet paper, bread, eggs, and maybe a packet of the most terrible Marie biscuits, as tennis biscuits are the items now being bought. In passing such a lady, we would do a quick scan of her basket while doing our shopping. They pause with every product. As you can clearly see, every item is a decision and not a choice. Once this lady would reach the pay point, we would arrange with the manager or supervisor to let the cashier ring the items, and once she is done, the manager will tell her that she is a lucky number client at a lucky pay point, and her groceries are paid for at no cost to her. Myself or my son would then secretly pay the amount at the supervisor counter without this person knowing. We have noticed that the elderly still have a sense of pride, so it is just easier if they assume it is a gift from the store. We never need to worry about the amount due, as it's always between 100 Rand or 150 Rand, and this would be their purchase for at least 7 to 10 days. Now, for people who don't live in South Africa, 150 Rand is about $12 US, and that's their food purchases for up to 10 days. So it's about $1 a day that they're spending. The absolute priceless moment is when they are told that they've won. Firstly, they instantly freeze of shock, as this is the last thing they would expect happening to them. Secondly, they would ask, but why or how? And if the manager explains that they shouldn't ask but just accept, then they would either start hugging him or start crying. Those tears are the reason we do this, as they are tears of relief and joy and not sadness. Why I've decided to share this with you is I've noticed that 3 years ago they would do the shopping with a quick count of what the bill should be. Then they would, if there is any room left for an extra 10 Rand, make a turn at the sweets aisle, and they'll look for the least expensive chocolate within the 10 Rand range. This would normally be a slab that they could portion for as long as possible. I once paid for the basket for such an elderly lady, and once was given the news of "Don't worry, it's paid for," she was so excited that she asked the manager if she could go back and get another slab for her elderly neighbour friend that she would then pay for. Obviously, this was added to the shopping basket, and she was in heaven. Anyway, lately I've noticed that the sweets aisle doesn't get visited anymore. Instead, much needed items such as eggs are now left on the shelf. Within the week, I had a lady that had a brick of margarine, 2 tomatoes, 4 separate, not bulk, rolled toilet paper, a Masi soured milk, a loaf of bread, and 500 grams of mealie meal. She went to the aisle with eggs, 18 large eggs on special for 29 rand, looked at the eggs, put them in her basket, and halfway down the aisle turned around only to put them back on the shelf. Even items that the elderly used to buy, such as Marmite, powdered milk, condensed milk, or evaporated milk, Viennas, polony, or meat, chicken, are not making the shopping carts. I remember as a child of 8, I used to go shopping with my granny excuse me, and loved watching her in the supermarket with her Praetorian Trust book and the amazing bakes and treats she used to make with these items. This is definitely not the case for our pensioners anymore. I am witnessing almost on a weekly basis how the shopping lists are getting shorter. The items being purchased are not necessarily healthy for the elderly, but it's all they can afford. The truest form of appreciation still left in this country is the look on that beautiful face when they say thank you. I wish I had a magic wand that could separate them from the ugliness in South Africa. I wish I could wave this wand and let them spend their years without witnessing what is happening. I wish I could make them invisible to anyone wanting to hurt them. And then Dee sums up by saying, a prisoner is costing the taxpayer 167 to 350 rand per day, but a pensioner gets 1,700 rand per month. Now, again, for people who don't live in South Africa and don't understand the huge chasm between the rand and the US dollar, 1,700 rand is about 150 US dollars, and that's what they get per month to live on. According to the department, it costs 167 rand 33 a day to release a prisoner with a monitoring device, while it costs 350 rand a day to have the prisoner incarcerated. The maximum amount that you will get in South Africa as a pensioner is 1,700 rand per month. If you're older than 75 years, you'll get an extra 20 rand per month, or 1,720 rand. South African Social Security Agency. So there's the reality. You know, these whites have been paying taxes all their lives. Yeah, they were there in the apartheid era, but they've paid a huge amount of taxes, and now they're not getting enough money to actually live. It's an absolute tragedy. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, and I hope you're having a good evening. Bye for now. And thank you, Dee.